Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, and we'll just remove Pixel Player, who's gonna be here but isn't quite here just yet. Welcome to the Season 4 postseason, starting off here with the European Challenger Cup. My name is Gibular Bob, and well, today is going to be a huge weekend for not only Breachers, but really for the rest of VRML and VRML Network. We're going to have action. I mean, we've already had action going on all morning, if you caught the APAC Challenger Cup, but now we've got EU Breachers, we've got EU Orion Drift going on. That's actually been going on. And then later today, we've got NA Orion Drift and NA Breachers. We've got Veil that's going on this weekend. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening, and what better way to kick off the action here than with Underdogs versus Rejected, first game of this Challenger Cup. I'm gonna be honest, it's probably the smallest pool of teams we've had in the Challenger Cup before. We've just got 3 teams competing today: Underdogs, Rejected, and Sizzy. Hopefully I said that right. Syzzygy. If I said that wrong, I apologize. But yeah, in any case, we should be good to go here in just a second. If you've never been with us before for the Challenger Cup, it is a Swiss-style tournament. That means that the teams will compete against each other in 3 rounds. It is a best of 1 each round. I believe one team gets to, the higher seed team gets to, or both teams get to ban a map, and then the higher seed team gets the pick of map or side, and then we play our best of 1, and whoever wins gets a point. Whoever loses does not get a point, and at the end, whoever has the most points, well, the 2 teams with the most points are going to move on tomorrow to do a best of 3, and that's going to determine the 8th seed in the EU Championship. The closed qualifiers will happen next weekend. We have to get through the Challenger Cup first, and I'll be here the whole time to give you the best perspective of the action. We'll, like I said, have Pixel Player joining us in a little bit, the legendary Nexus player. I think he's still on next. So, I didn't just get that wrong. But yeah, we've got the players in the lobby right now representing Underdogs: Casper, Rising Survivor, CT, Sparks, and Ged. And over on Rejected, Obiza, Easy Mario, The Big R, Steep, and Shot. A map has not been picked yet, but we should be getting into that fairly soon. Just go ahead and get in contact with the player base. And actually, I think it's time to introduce our very special guest. Pixel Player, are you here? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Oh, perfect. There we go. Welcome, Pixel Player. You're on here on the stream with us. The EU Challenger Cup, Rejected versus Underdogs. Let me hear your thoughts.
I think this will be one of the best matchups we're going to watch out of the few we are watching today. Underdogs and Rejected, I don't think they have gone against each other this season from the looks of it. So, unless they've been scrimming, this will be the first time they've seen each other in a match, at least this season.
Yep, and okay, sorry, just looking at something real quick. There we go. Yeah, 6-6-1 from Underdogs, 6-6 from Rejected. So yeah, I mean, they're both pretty equal in terms of statistics. Best map for Underdogs is Ship, 59 rounds played. They've won 53% of those. Rejected, their best map, Hideout, 76 rounds played, 55% on Hideout for Rejected. So, Pixel, I mean, as somebody who competes and is very high elo in EU, you know, what do you think of Maul? Which is where our first map is going to be.
I love Maul. Oh, it is going to be Maul. I love Maul. I've liked it since it came out. I've always liked the new maps when they come out because a lot of the players, for some reason, don't seem to like them. I think it's just mainly people don't like adapting too much until later in the season. So we play more early, hopefully get better at it, and then later in the season everyone catches up and hopefully we're ahead is usually our plan. But Maul is a great map, I think, overall, with everything, close range, long range, it's got it all.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm of that opinion too. I love seeing the new maps, especially Maul, and I feel so spoiled right now because I almost never get to cast this map. But here we are with Rejected on the offense and Underdogs on the defense. Remember, this is a best of one. So whoever wins this map is going to win that first point in this round. And it's really going to come down to, you know, every single point because only 2 teams, Pixel, are going to move on to tomorrow for that best of 3.
Yep, and usually... Like you said, best of one map here. You don't have the second map to regroup and go for the 2-0. Well, go for the comeback with the 2-0. So, like you said, every round counts, and it's just this first round is going to mean a lot more than other games usually do.
Yeah, a lot on the line here in the Challenger Cup. It's definitely one of the most difficult parts of Breacher's VRML. And the job doesn't get easier after this, but hey, you will get access to that wonderful little finalist skin. 2 minutes on the clock as Rising Survivor getting ready to press the flank, and they may get a shot here on the shot. They do! Double, triple! Oh my goodness! What a slaughter! 4 from Rising Survivor immediately out of the gate, and Underdogs take the first point.
Yep. That was very good timing for Rising Survivor there. Earlier in the round, you saw Shot check the flank, and Rising Survivor's legs just about were sticking out, but I don't think he got seen. So then, obviously, gets the flank there, gets enough damage for... he got 3 kills, but 4 of them were his. But that was really good timing and really good flank timing for that. That is perfect.
Yeah, amazing pressure applied by Rising Survivor. That's the thing about flanks that is you really have to master. It's not simply just getting behind your opponent. It's getting behind at the right times where they don't notice you first, but you're also still there to apply pressure before your entire team gets slaughtered.
Yep. And I think with Maul as well, the flanks on Maul, if you get it, they are a lot closer to the sites and to the walls outside of sites than other maps like Hideout. When you're flanking, as soon as you peek, like, the flank start is where most of the team will be, and you can get those multi-kills if you peek before anyone's looking at you. It's all about timing on this map, and it's perfect when you get it right.
So Rejected takes an early loss in the first round. Remember, it's 1st to 7 in Breaches. I've been casting a lot of Orion Drift, so I have to make sure that I'm getting all my details right for Breachers. 1st to 7 here. And overtime is, of course, on. So we won't have a second map at all. It is just going to be this first map, and whoever wins this is going to get that point. In the UCC, wall opens up into Site B, and there goes the vent as well. Ged holding a nice angle by the mannequin. A lot of play space going on there. They're trying to get the best angle they can. In comes the drone, and that goes down as well.
Yeah, Rising Survivor gets picked up the flank there this time. It seems like Underdogs gave up the space, a lot of the space, really easy, like at the start of this round here. Jed's gonna die to that instant, perfect placement there. They, yep, here we go with Rejected planted now. They got full site control, just everything gave up by Underdogs, unfortunately, there. So it'll be a hard retake for them on this site.
And that EMP is down. It's up to CT, who does get one onto Ibiza. Looking for a second onto Shot. And they now know where Shot is, but the big R is going to be the real problem here. Swing out. CT gets a second. Can they find a third? It's now just down to a 1v1 between CT and Shot. They both know where each other are now, but CT's got to hurry because that EMP is quickly ticking down. They're going to press up to the wall, tap the EMP, bait out Shot, and they get some damage, but no! Shot is going to find it instead. Very intense 1v1.
That was almost by CT getting that clutch there. But with the post plant, I think around 20 seconds left when he finally realized he had to go forwards there. All Shot had to do was just stand still. Not have to do anything, just keep playing ring around the rosies, and he gets around there, which he does.
It was a good attempt by CT, though. They took out almost everybody in that 1v3 clutch scenario, but honestly, I think Underdogs still has a bit of a leg up here. They do have 4 Vezins compared to Rejected's 3, but Rejected has also got a little bit more money in their pocket to buy some utility. Again, I got to ask from your pro mindset here, Pixel, how important is utility over in the EU scene? I know in NA we often see everybody's utility dumping. Does it work the same way, or in your opinion, does EU prefer more just pure gun skill?
I think a lot of EU players do use quite a lot of util. It's just different EU players, different EU teams, use it differently.
Right.
Sometimes you'll have used all the util outside, like defenders will use their util early outside of sight instead of trying to stop the plant. And then some teams will use it to try and play post plant. Rise of Survivor doesn't get that kill, but Sparks gets the refrag there. Sorry about that. Those rounds are going quick.
And it's a 3 versus 4. 2 minutes on the clock as Shot and the rest of Rejected make their way in. Rising Survivor's gotten a little bit aggressive in these past rounds, and it hasn't worked out for them. They were able to secure 1 pick, but that's a couple Vezins into the hands of Rejected early. Both of their Omen players now get a free rifle upgrade, and they're slowly making their way and clearing the way to Site B. Now CT is on their flank. Easy Mario pushing behind the counter and picks up a little bit of damage through the wall. 1.5 minutes on the clock. So Rejected don't have a ton of time here. Casper with a nice swing out gets the head of Steak, and Shot is going to look to push up into the doorway. Fires into the site a little bit, but no big kill resulted from that. 1:15, there goes the wall. It's been opened up. We're going to see a double push coming from Rejected here very, very soon. 3v3, the EMP is down as Casper finding Shot, and Obiza still playing up at the door, but that EMP down is going to make things difficult. Easy Mario brings it back a little bit in the way of Rejected with a kill. CP responds with a refrag, and it's now a 2 versus 1. It's up to Obiza, who does almost find Jed, but CT finds it, Pixel, and Underdogs maintain the lead.
Well, it's perfectly played by Underdogs there. Casper playing that angle behind the counter, which I love playing as well. Such a free angle onto the side wall when no one else on the main wall or the main door can see you on site. It's just easy pickings if no one, jiggle peeks it to check you. And then CT and who was it? I believe it was Jed getting the playing together on that final guy on the table.
I gotta say, CT has had a pretty nice start, 6-1 at the start of this round by round 3. I mean, Underdogs have some deep pockets right now, Pixel. They're able to still purchase 4 Vezins, and Sparks is going to run the Viper, but plenty of utility can be purchased by Underdogs. Meanwhile, Rejected, not quite as good on the economy department. They've got actually Steak running a Jesper right now. Maybe they'll upgrade to a better pistol. But triple Omens, do you think it's harder to attack or defend on Maul?
Personally, I think Maul is a pretty just even map.
Really?
I think defense is definitely, if you play it right, defense is probably the better play, which is how it goes for most games. Most maps, if you have a good defense, then it's always really going to be defender sided. But if you play pinching well or util well, then you're going to have a pretty nice attack as well. You just need to make sure you're able to take the space and stop the defenders from having so many angles on you.
In the meantime, the big R caught out by Jed. 2 minutes on the clock, and Shot gets a kill onto CT. That push leaves the EMP down in sight, but Shot has made their way in, and they almost spring a kill onto Sparks, but it does not happen. 2 versus 4 already, Pixel.
Yep, that's how it goes when you have Resins versus SMGs and pistols. No util for the Rejected side, able to smoke off that doorway, so they've just got 2 people holding them. And it's really hard to cross it at that point, as we've seen with them dying. And now an instant to block them off even more. And then Jed goes for that swing as well. Last person's outside. He's going to try and go for exit frags for the money here, I assume.
Yeah, if you're Steak, maybe you might be able to get away with pushing in and see if you can harvest an SMG and try and get a pick that way. But that Jesper is not exactly the most damaging weapon in Breachers. And Steak in trouble at the window. A lot of pressure applied by Rising Survivor and Jed. There's the swing. And Jed will find Steak, making it 3-1 to Underdogs, who have had a very nice first stint on Maul. We do still have 2 rounds left, but Rejected able to buy into some more rifles this time, Pixel.
Yep. Seems like they should have quite a bit of util as well, with Obiza having 1k. The util should be good here. Like, that bottom floor is definitely not a fun place to attack when you have no util at all, especially pushing through that window. No flashes, no smokes or anything like that. It's not the most easy push to do. So now this round might be a little bit more interesting, with hopefully if they buy more util and see how it goes. I'm assuming it looks like they're going to be doing an A push.
Well, we'll see. This is, I think, probably, in my opinion, the most difficult floor to attack on. At least that's from my personal experience, and I never do too well on this floor. But Rejected, as Pixel mentioned, now make things a little bit more even with Vezins in hand. Only the big R is the one with an RL. And we'll see if Rejected can put some more points on the board, because right now they are not off to the best start. But hey, they do have their foot in the door. So worst case for them is 5-1. Probably want to go 4-2 if you're looking to have a better defensive half. But I suppose the best case scenario for Rejected is still that 3-3 tie. You know, when they get some rifles, Pixel, Rejected have been able to do quite a bit of damage to Underdogs.
Yep, 100%. Like you said, 3-1. This round can mean a lot. If Rejected win this round, it's 2-3, and they will have the money for the possible 6th round, which will make it even. And Steak gets that kill onto CT on the site there. Underdog's giving up a lot of space again.
Minute 40. As there's Rising Survivor. Oh, he's on the flank. And Steak is going to go and check it. And Rising Survivor goes for the pre-fire. They do get refragged by Steak. But it is a 1 versus 3 right now. Casper picking up a headshot. Onto shot. And they almost got, I don't know how they didn't die to that frag grenade. But a minute 15 on the clock. 3 versus 3. 3 versus 2. Obiza goes down. Makes it a little bit more difficult for Rejected in this 2 versus 3.
2 versus 1 now. Casper being left alone. Stim, so his HP's back up, but they're going to be, hopefully, you're going to see Rejected play a bit more together here. VMP planted. It's going to make it a lot harder for Casper now. Especially now they know where he is.
Rejected may be able to make this work as Casper goes on the warpath. 1 onto Steak. They're still charging through the arcade, looking for Easy Mario. They do not spot that flare quite yet. Now Easy Mario hears the audio cue from the EMP. Oh, Casper pros don't fake. You could have had that. But they will try and go and swing out. Win the gunfight. No, they don't find it. Pixel, I got to hear your thoughts. Pros don't fake. I think yeah. Casper could have won that round.
100%. I mean, not knowing where Easy Mario was there definitely didn't help him. Easy Mario was not in a good position whatsoever for that post plant.
Right.
He wouldn't have been able to go round into sight because of the static, and the vault would have made him very obvious to know where he is, and it would have taken, I think, too long to crouch walk all the way. Just unlucky that Casper, just the nerves got to him a little bit there, and he made the vaulting noise, which let Mario know he wasn't sticking it at that point.
Yeah, heartbreak.
It's a bit of a tough play for him there.
I mean, heartbreak for Casper. That's the second time they've gotten right down to the last step of a 1v. I think that was also another like 1v3 or 1v2 in that scenario, and Casper almost had it, but just a little short. And for Rejected, they're going to be quite pleased with that result because it gave them their second round and can potentially push them to that 3-3 tie as they move to their defense. And Underdogs are going to have a little work to do. They're going to try and make this a 4-2. If they go on to 3-3, well, I'm not sure. I haven't seen their their offense here on Maul. It could be a little bit more difficult, but we'll find out soon enough.
I'm not seeing a lot of util from Underdogs as well. Obviously, 2 statics, they've got a nade and a stim, and that seems to be it, and 2 trip mines as well, as you see at the place where Rejected is pushing. I don't think they see the trips. They haven't pinged them, but they might be calling them out. Their drone definitely saw them. But 5-man push into this storage room. They could go through the fence still, but it's a very tight space for 5 people.
2 minutes as here comes the flash into the site. There's double trips on the door. Frag is tossed, and maybe attention will be drawn away from those trip mines. Incendiary tossed in deep. I think the drone missed the trips though. Oh, they did bait him out. Okay. All right, Rejected do have a chance. Steak, meanwhile, picking up the kill onto Rising Survivor. 4 versus 4. Easy Mario claiming Jed. And it's now a 3 versus 4 with Underdogs being the underdogs. Casper doing what they do best and keeping their team alive in this round. Passing that sim over to CT, but it bounced. And it forced CT to move out of position where they did end up getting killed. Now a 2 versus 3. A minute left on the clock. This is for all the marbles going into the second half of Maul. Steak now goes down to Sparks. We do have Easy Mario on the flank, who is looking for the ambush kill. What a flank from Sparks! Oh my! And it's now just down to the Big R in a 1v2. Rejected. Could be heartbreak for them. They did so well to win that previous round. And it will make things more difficult if they go 4-2. It's not going to be the worst case. They'll still be able to win, of course, but it will make it significantly more difficult. 25 seconds on the clock. The Big R pushes into A. Baited out by Sparks, but they do manage to get the kill, and they had a stim to get some health back. Here comes the plant. They're going for it, and it's now up to Casper once again to win this 1v1 game. They don't have any util. They do not have a stim, and that EMP has been planted. But the Big R, oh, they just barely miss each other, Pixel. The EMP slowly ticking down. The Big R is right behind Casper, but Casper has already turned the corner and is making their way over to the EMP, but I don't think they realize where the Big R is. Oh, a clutch from the Big R. And there you have it, Casper. It has not been their first half, Pixel.
That is very unlucky for Casper there. That's 3 rounds lost just in a 1v1 again. I was really expecting Casper to go around the corner there to just keep going around in circles. But unfortunately it didn't happen. That was very, very funny timing up until that point though. Once again, unlucky for Casper, bringing it down. It was a 2v1 that time, but it's 3-3. Still a chance for both teams to take it home. There's no one's ahead yet.
All right, here we are. The second half of Maul. A reminder to everybody that this is the Challenger Cup, so it's going to be a best of 1 between these 2 teams. Whoever wins this map is going to get that highly coveted point, and the top 2 teams from today will move on to a best of 3 tomorrow to determine the 8th seed. So, 2 more rounds ahead of us, but as we move into the second half of round 1, we'll see if Underdogs can bounce back a little bit. I really want to see at this point, Pixel, I want to see Casper win a clutch 1v1 or just a 1v1. I feel so bad. They've had so many shots at it and things have just not gone their way.
Yep. Oh, what a nade. Oh, it's unlucky they get any damage there. Both teams opting to do a pistol push onto A though, which I honestly, onto B, sorry, which I honestly don't see often. But this is definitely different to see.
Rising Survivor has actually infiltrated the site, but they did go down. They're often the lone wolf pushing in, but Shot and Steak quickly denying Underdogs' hopes of having a good start to their offensive half. We're into a 2 versus 4. A Shot and CT gets some kills. And it's now just down to CT HP. And Jed. Yeah, 4 HP from CT.
Less than 100 HP between them. Shot's trying to crouch up to get this pick. They both get away just in time though. It seems like Underdog's done a lot of solo, like trying to do a lot of solo plays there. You saw Rising Survivor crouch in, who's disconnected right now, but he did crouch in got the flashbang, but not onto the close sight, and just got swung by, I believe, 3 people. There's no win in that fight, especially on pissed around. And then the rest of everyone just kind of really getting picked off with Casper, or CT, sorry, CT getting one of the refrags.
Only a minute left. And CT Jed don't have too many other options. They've got 50 seconds. You got to push in. They do still have possession of that EMP. You know, maybe you think about saving the foam and the spectral and just playing your eco a little bit, because, you know, a 2v4 is going to be a little bit difficult to win against Rejected, but Jed may have a go at it. They're right up to the breach. Shot is carefully watching, and they do get the kill onto Jed. It's now up to CT alone and the last member of Underdogs standing. But they made their way into the site. They almost assassinated Obiza, but it didn't quite happen.
Yep. It's unlucky. I thought he was going to try and go for that EMP, just try and stick it, get that 200 extra, and then maybe get one after planted, but the plant is still would have been good there. Unfortunately, doesn't even get one of the picks, just got him down very low. I think he thought he killed him and then switched to the next person. But like I said, the 2 picks early on from Rejected is just definitely gave him that round there. I think Underdogs need to swing a bit more together there, especially on pistol round. Very important to do it on pistol round. But yeah.
We had a small disconnect. Okay, Shot has returned. Good for Rejected, and also a good start to their second half. They were at a bit of a deficit to Underdogs when we started this game, but they've slowly but surely worked their way up to a 4-3 lead, really applying a lot of pressure to Underdogs here. They've got 4 Omens, and Underdogs responds with 3 Spectrals, a Viper, and an Omen. So SMGs have become quite popular in the meta. I can't really keep calling it a new meta, Pixel, because it happened all the way back in Season 3, but it still feels so new and so refreshing to see SMGs being used.
Yep, definitely the econ you get from getting the SMG kills compared to pistols is definitely more favorable, which is why having Jed dying right there, but with a Spectral, along with Rising Survivor having a Spectral, is definitely different, because you spend around 700, a bit less than that, for the sight and the gun. Sorry, it's at 650. Oh no, 575. I'm a little bit slow. And you don't get any bonus for getting the pistol kills. When you spend an extra 500 for the SMG, you get 2 kills with that. You get a lot more money than you would for getting 1 or 2 kills with the Spectral. But different teams play it differently. And if it works for them, then we'll find out now. But 5v4 ready for Rejected.
And the Big R was doing a little celebratory dance, and they did manage to find a kill, but they were spotted by Underdogs, and they cannot escape CT, but it's just Casper in a 1. Oh, no, they go down again to Shot this time. Shot actually dropped a double, made it 5-3 for Rejected, and they look quite comfortable. They really used the... I really think they used the Omen advantage there. You know, they just had more SMGs, and in a closed space like they were in, I think it was just a massacre in favor of Rejected.
Yep. You saw them just run it down. As soon as they got that first pick onto Jed, I'm pretty sure it was, who pushed alone into barrels, or just... Oh, no, it was upstairs. He was trying to do a flank upstairs, gets caught off. Rejected just took that time just to run everyone down and get those kills, which definitely seems to be, against knowing... They saw that Jed had that pistol, maybe they assumed everyone else had the pistols, and was like, okay, well, we can win these fights close range if we just play it quick, which they obviously did, and won that round, making it 5-3.
And here we go. Just a little bit left in this game, potentially, if Rejected can keep this streak up. They've got 4 Vezins, and the Omen from Ibiza. While Underdogs have to settle with an Auril and a Kadia. They can make those work. They're certainly not in the worst of economy situations, but if Rejected can play this right and just keep those Vezins close to the site, they stand to do a lot of damage to Underdogs.
Yeah, Underdogs opting to spend quite a lot of money into this round. I believe 2 people, a CT and Rising Survivor, if they don't pick up a Vezin this round and win the round, they're going to be stuck with these guns next round as well, or even worse. So they're definitely taking a big risk, but they're trying not to make it go to match point.
And the wall's open, and the flash is in. Easy Mario getting slightly blinded, but it doesn't matter too much. They got the kill anyway. Meanwhile, Jed did get the kill using that Viper, but it is a 4 versus 4. Sparks has picked up quite a bit of damage. 4 versus 3 is Easy Mario claiming the kill onto Casper. It's not good when Underdogs' best frag has gone down. A minute 20. Easy Mario looks for a push. Doesn't work on CT, but it did get a lot of damage, and Underdogs are split. They're both across the map from each other. It's down to Sparks and CT. Are they going to try and rendezvous, or are they maybe going to go and push the site shots? Taking out Sparks. He got a little bit over-aggressive, dare I say. Only a minute left, Pixel. Not a whole lot of options for CT.
I do think the best play here is to just try and save this Oral, because getting one pick here may be possible, but I don't think it's going to be worth losing this, because you're not going to have enough whatsoever to buy a gun plus util next round. But it seems like he might be trying to go for... Oh, no, he picks up a Vezin, and I assume he'll be saving now, which it looks like he will be. Didn't even see that on the floor.
You got to go for the Gilded Vezin. Shout out to Triangle Factory for the Gilded Vezin. But I don't know. I think it may be my favorite bundle that they have released. They also just released the Wild Style bundle, which has like a little artistic, glowy expression on several of the weapons. You can actually go and pick that one up right now, along with their other bundles. They're really nice. I quite like all of the bundles.
That is my favorite one.
Wild Style or Gilded?
Wild Style. I like the colors. it's for both Marui and Vezin. So it's the two guns that you use quite a bit, plus it has the Viper, which I didn't have a skin for, so I kind of had to pick it up.
Yeah, of course.
But the noises and the looks of it, and if you have your settings on high, if you're playing on PCVR, it's a very bright gun, which is just as good.
Bright and flashy, that's the way to do it.
Yep.
All right, here we go, Pixel. It is match point here on round 1 of the EUCC, with Rejected ready to take out the win over Underdogs. Shot, I gotta say, the first person to reach the double digits in this match. They're doing quite well for themselves. And to be fair, Underdogs, in terms of kills, are still competing quite a bit with Rejected.
Yep, definitely. Sorry about that. Oh my god. It does seem like ever since I think was it 3-0 down to Underdogs, or was it 2-1? But either way, Rejected kind of just, as soon as they got those first 2 rounds and made it there, they've just been going off and haven't really been dropping many players since then, apart from on when they were attacking. I think there's a disconnect.
Yeah, I think Sparks may be disconnected here, which not the best for Underdogs, especially in such a crucial moment. There's Bot Nelson. We'll see if they can't get that disconnect in, or excuse me, that reconnect in before Nelson goes in and pushes in with that Marui and gets themselves killed. There's the Wild Style Marui.
There it is.
Mentioned by Pixel Player. 2 minutes on the clock, and Nelson is being quite the champ here and pushing with the rest of their team. Gotta love the Breachers bots. And Nelson is really leading the charge and may end up walking right into the Rejected defense, but they're going to hang back a little bit. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is pushing in with them. And Nelson, we still have Nelson. Hopefully we can get Sparks to reconnect and to support their team. 1.5 minutes on the clock as CT looking to push a little bit on to Site A. Everybody's stacking outside. I think they're going to wait until the last possible second to see if Sparks can reconnect. But no, there goes the wall. It's been opened up. Here comes a push from CT, and that clone projector actually did not fool Underdogs. Oh! But here comes a push from Steak.
Oh.
They took out one, threw the ensign down. Nelson is still alive, and Steak claims their second victim. Almost getting a third. Maybe Nelson can provide a little bit of fire support for their teammates here. Shot gets Rising Survivor. Jed, no, Nelson. Oh, and it's a double kill from Steak to end the game and to give Rejected the win over Underdogs here on Mall. What a match, Pixel. I mean, I think Underdogs, all things considered, did a very, very decent job of sticking with Rejected.
Yep, they started off strong. I just feel like as soon as Rejected got to that 3-3, they just had the mindset. They had the what's the word here? I kind of forgot the word, but they just snowballed. They just fully kept going and kept going. They just kept storming through. And unlucky for the disconnect from Sparks there, but Nelson played the best I've ever seen a bot play. Not dying first. Definitely a crazy sight to see as well.
I think he died. I think he actually died last, which is
like that,
quite the feat from Nelson there. It's always really surprising when the bot does get a kill. It has happened before. We've got a couple clips on this channel where it has happened. But in any case, where Underdogs is not out yet, Pixel, because they do still have 2 more rounds to compete in here with the EUCC. And Rejected, I don't know if they get a bye or if they move on to round number 2. Let me quickly check in with my bracket and see if... No, it doesn't look like it's been generated quite yet, but we do still have Sizzy. Do you know how to say that one?
I'm gonna be honest, no. I was just thinking of saying Synergy. That's the one it was closest to.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. So we'll go with Synergy or Sizzy. But in any case, we're gonna take a small intermission. When we come back, we will have round number 2 of the EU Challenger Cup. Don't go away. We'll be back soon.
Prepare to start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody's spotted in the bottom, going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Breachers VRML. I'm your host, Gibular Bob, joined by my co-caster, Pixel Player. We're back with round 2 of the EU Challenger Cup with Rejected once more, and we figured out how to say it, Sizzy. That's I feel quite proud of that. Thank you to Pixel for looking that up and explaining the pronunciation of that. And speaking of Rejected and Sizzy Pixel, we're heading over into our next map of the CC, which is over on Arctic. And reminder that once more, this is a best of one. That's why we're not seeing underdogs anymore. Whoever wins this is going to get that wonderful point. And it's currently Rejected has the only point of the CC. So again, we've said it before, we'll say it again. There's a lot on the line here, Pixel.
Yep, 100%. Arctic. So we're not seeing Maul twice, unfortunately. Arctic will. How was Rejected playing again? Rejected were playing kind of quickly on attack, I believe, right? Like, I think Underdogs was given a lot of space, so we'll see how Rejected. They're not playing attack this time, but we'll see if we see a different type of playstyle for Arctic.
I call it the Maul phenomenon, right? Where a team can play really, really well on a brand new map. Once you put them into a more familiar setting, perhaps they won't play as well as they did. I'm curious to see if that is the same with Rejected, as they're here on the defense to start off. But now that they're not on Maul, because a lot of people just outright ban Maul. They don't want to play a new map. They don't want to learn a new map right now. So they just get rid of it. And then in the rare chance that they have to play it, then you might have an advantage if you've practiced Maul more. But now that we've taken Rejected out of Maul, which is a setting that they were very comfortable in, I'm curious as to whether or not they can still put in the same performance here on Arctic. But right now, it is a slow start from Sizzy. They are not making any noise, quiet as a mouse, and I think at this point Rejected are anticipating that A push.
I do think Pasta made one step, which you saw by the pings, but yeah, definitely caught off a little bit now.
Uh-oh,
So
here we go.
Shot gets a kill from behind.
There's CC Mario in the back of site A. It's a push on server corner. Minute 20. Wall opened up into site A, and Pasta looks to push in and get that EMP planted. Obiza tried to swing out, but did pick up quite a bit of damage. They haven't stuck the EMP quite yet. Pasta did find the kill, and Shot responds with a pick onto Ellipsis, and here comes the collapse from Rejected. Shot will find that final kill, makes it 1-0. I thought they just did the Lethal Company dance for a moment there, but they're hitting the emotes on Rejected. And they look comfortable right now, Pixel.
Yep, 100% Shot gets that first pick in the barrels room, and then just stays there for the rest of the round until they start putting more pressure onto, I believe it was the A site. And then he just, once they start putting pressure, start planting, that's when he starts to flank, gets one kill. I don't know if the call out came in because you didn't see Caesar just didn't turn around and start trying to hide or fight Shot on the flank there, so he gets another kill, gets a 4K in round one. That's always a nice sight.
All right.
Lots of detail.
1-0. Rejected up on Sizzy. Maybe the Maul phenomenon is all in my head, and it's a Gibular Bob conspiracy theory. I've got my tinfoil hat on, but 10 seconds to start off round number 2, and we do see triple omens coming out from Rejected, so they may have a slight advantage. But Sizzy did purchase 2 omens of their own, so I think it may just cancel out each other. Shot is on an aggressive peak outside of B. 2 minutes 20 on the clock as Sizzy, again, they're very big on slow pushes into the site, but starting to pick up the pace a little bit as they take out that proximity sensor, and they're going 4 strong outside of B. I wonder if they've noticed the trip mine. They haven't droned, so if nobody's watching for this kind of awkward trip mine spot, they're going to get caught in it.
Finds the first one. Second one's still placed in a weird spot, so Ellipsis should see it, and he does. No trips are going to get damaged.
Oh, there it goes. The wall opened up, incendiary toss into the corner. Not a bad incendiary deployment. But unfortunately for Sizzy, no one was actually sitting on round box. Minute 30 on the clock as Ellipsis is getting ready to push in and get that EMP planted. Caesar, meanwhile, has made their way into red. Ellipsis and Pasta both find a kill. Easy Mario responds with a pick on the Pasta. 4 versus 3. Ellipsis barely survives in a safe spot from that incendiary, but they are stuck. EMP planted. The big R is caught. Easy Mario does not have a whole lot of health here, and they're in a 2 versus 2, a 1 versus 1. It's up to Steak against Kung Fu Panda. Never thought I'd be saying that sentence, but the EMP is slowly ticking down. Kung Fu Panda looks to escape. Steak may have the ability to just go in here. Pro-Zone fake. Oh, but he can hear the audio, but time is running out. Kung Fu Panda moves in, and Steak goes for the blind fire, but it just did not work, and Sizzy put a point on the board.
Yep. Steak being 1 HP there definitely didn't help him, even against the Spectral. Kung Fu Panda ran very far away, where Steak maybe could have stuck it, but definitely being that 1 HP gave him a scare because he can just do a quick jiggle, 1 bullet, and he's dead. That's unlucky for him there, but with the split push that Sizzy just done, they had 2 on red room, 1 with that rotated with the foam to open that wall. Don't even need to worry about the door blocker that was there. I think they only got 1 pick from the wall, but it's a lot of pressure that they have to deal with before they can even think of going for the EMP and the people outside of sight as well. Definitely a good push if you get it done.
And they did. And Sizzy is they've gotten a total of 4 kills, which is definitely interesting. Rejected is beating them in the kill department right now. But it just goes to show that, Breachers can be a game of strong teamwork, and that's really how Sizzy won that. I gotta say, Kung Fu Panda did play very, very smart. They went all the way back out. They just waited for the audio cue, and then they pushed in and didn't give Rejected the opportunity to stick that defuse. 2 minutes 20 as we start a fresh round here on Arctic, and we're neck and neck right now in the first half. Nobody's quite claimed full momentum yet, but now we're starting to see rifles make an appearance. Rejected have purchased 4 Vezins, and they've got Obisa running both stims. That's an interesting strategy, not one I've seen before.
The medical role coming in. With I think, he's the only person without guns. We definitely bought the stims, and he's just going to play back. And I assume throw him to anyone that takes damage, because you see the big R, Shot, and Steak playing very close up on site with their Vezins against Omens, so this could go either way with the fight, honestly. If they don't hit that first headshot, the Omen definitely has a chance to win that fight. But a second drone coming in to clear the rest of the area while Sizzy slowly move in.
The foam has been applied to Gym Wall, and Rejected are not playing off-site at all. They're giving full control over Cafeteria to Sizzy. And Sizzy are also sticking together completely as a team. Nobody's breaking off. They're all pushing. I think we're going to see a very interesting round, because the wall has just opened into Gym, and Rejected are going to be watching it like a hawk. But once more, Sizzy is nowhere to be found. They're actually on the all-in kitchen right now, moving as a unit, like a SWAT team. And now they're on move. Sparks is looking to open up the second wall, but the rest of the team might go for a blitz onto site. Hey, Caesar is now right outside of bathroom. Second wall opens up. Easy Mario pushes up to the door and almost walked right into the crosshair of several Sizzy players, but they swing back around in front of Sinks. Steak closing up the flank, does manage to take out Ellipsis, and Kung Fu Panda got the refrag, but the big R keeps Rejected ahead in terms of players.
Ooh. Shot gets the refrag on Kung Fu Panda there. Playing in a very close position to the door, but just pushes out. Now, see, 1 person in B, and Sparks gets the kill onto A.
Oh,
another
1v1.
kill faster, 1v1 now. Ooh, Vezin v Vezin.
Wait a minute.
There he is. Not enough
I
time.
didn't even look. I didn't even see it, Pixel.
It took too long. I didn't see it. I was not looking at that.
I wasn't looking at it at all. But that could have been it.
Though.
Yeah, the big R did, with all due respect, get the flick, and they wouldn't have lost either way. But they won off of the clock, and that was shocking to me. I forgot, like, the problem with the way that Sizzy is playing is that we're on 2.5-minute rounds now. So we used to be on 3-minute rounds, and that meant you could take a little bit more time playing a very long flanking push like the one they set up, but we're down to 2.5-minute rounds, and that goes by a lot faster. 30 seconds makes a huge difference.
Yep.
I think Sizzy got caught out a little bit there because they're going slightly too slow.
I think they had a good plan on doing that rotate, sticking together there. They definitely, it's just they slow down. As soon as they put that foam on the second wall, they ran towards the A wall, and 3 of them just sat in the exact same corner, and just that's where they lost all the time. They didn't. I don't think they actually knew what they were planning on doing. I think some thought they were going A, some thought they were going B. They just went to a standstill, which let other people rotate and swing out and get kills and waste even more time. So to be a little bit quicker than that on knowing where you're going.
Here's the thing: when you're gonna bait out Jim and you're gonna bait out the other site, you just need to full send it push into bathrooms and just commit to that push, because at that point, if you hesitate, the other team is going to funnel in. You're going to lose all hope of pulling off that hot and cold push, and it just didn't work. We'll see if Rejected can pull out another round against Sizzy, but it's still close, 2-1. Sizzy only down a single round, and Sparks does find Steak pushing through and getting ready to attack Cloak. Sparks, I heard a dry fire. The Vezins mag wasn't loaded. That's the worst sound to hear.
God.
And Rejected have lost complete control over the site. That's definitely, that is the worst sound to hear when you're in a gunfight.
That's horrible. Definitely. I think he clicked first as well, before the shots went off, so that kill could have been his. You don't know what that could have changed to the round, getting that one extra pick. That's so unlucky.
Oh, look at the hold
Make some
from
noise.
Kung Fu Panda. Obese is going to be walking right into the trap. They didn't even get in the room yet because Caesar was waiting. And Sizzy with quite the bounce back. See, when they play fast like that, it worked.
Yep.
Like, they just committed to the push. They didn't go for a crazy flank around. They just pushed. That worked out for them.
Yep, 100%. They're doing like off meta pushes here. So you see that bottom floor push they just done right there. Not usually the site that's pushed, and you've got to do those quick. You've got to not give them the time to rotate there. Which, granted, there was 3 on the site, but they got the picks off. I think the defense Rejected had a Taurus as well, so they maybe didn't have the best money that round. Definitely helped them with a quick push onto an offsite. So Rejected making it 2-2, making it even now. This round, they do have the advantage as well. Should be able to take the lead if they play it right.
I look at the disparity between the weapons
Yeah.
and the eco. I mean, and the utility. Everybody on Sizzy is stacked with the most luxurious kits, and you look at Rejected, and the big R is on an Omen, and their only piece of util is a singular stim. So we'll see. I don't know. I feel like when Rejected are kind of underdogs in the round, they can pull off some pretty impressive stuff. I mean, Sizzy was the underdogs last round. They definitely probably should not have won that, but it worked out for them, and they really have changed their trajectory in this first half. They could stand to give Rejected their first loss of this EU Challenger Cup. Frag tossed down the hallway, and the big R is perfectly safe from that, tucking back into Site A. Meanwhile, EMP up on roof. Minute 40 on the clock as Sizzy again taking their time with the push, not getting too reckless, but Obisa waited, perfectly patient, and found the pick.
Yep, kills that flank watch there. Means one extra person on Sizzy are going to have to be a little bit scared of the flank, with 2 people from Rejected playing offside this time instead of full stacking.
Oh!
Obisa gets another one. Oh.
Obisa is just assassinating the entire back line of the Sizzy push. Caesar, in the meantime, found a big R, making it a little bit more successful towards the front line, but a minute on the clock means Sizzy has got to make some kind of a move. Once again, they've burned a lot of their time, and they don't have too many options left. Sparks finding Steak makes it a 3 versus 3. With just 45 seconds left on the clock, the push has to happen, and it's got to happen very, very soon. Kung Fu Panda has pushed in. No util from Rejected means that they're going to have to get super, super aggressive, and there it is! Shot with the double, and Easy Mario cleaned up Sparks to make it a 3-2. Rejected, maintaining a lead. They stand to go 4-2 into the second half.
Yep, that was a very, very important round for Rejected to win there. They put a lot of money into that, buying 2 weapons when the other 3 people saved for the next round. Granted, it worked. It's not a play you see often, having the money split between that much. Usually you'd have the people that can buy the rifles, buy an SMG, and get a little bit of util as well. But what they done worked, and now it's 5 rifles versus 4 rifles and a Viper.
All right. Let's see if Sizzy has. I think they really get in their own head with quite a few of their pushes here. They just don't know how to exactly approach that top floor. I think that push needs a little bit more work in particular, because they've been so dominant on the bottom floor, and I think both pushes on the bottom floor they've won. I think that's where they got their rounds from.
I believe so. Yep. Yeah, it is.
So now we're on middle floor, and Sizzy, this is your chance to get the culmination of your round 1 experience and just send it. Just push in, play fast, and try and throw Rejected off a little bit. We'll see if they can do that. 2 minutes 10 on the clock once more, as well, I got to be honest, we're seeing Rejected. They're playing very, very spread out right now, Pixel.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like there's 2 people currently holding B, with 1 person, Steak, sitting in green, which they haven't droned out. If they don't hear that vent open, they kind of haven't got a full reason to keep checking it, but it looks like Sparks will be going to repel there with EMP. If Steaks gets this kill on Sparks, if he goes into green, that's a big pick, because they'll have to go pick it up, but he's actually not going there, never mind. Oh, can't make his mind up, it doesn't look like.
You definitely don't want to push an angle like that when you have the EMP. You just want to, stay with the rest of your team, so that way if the EMP goes down, they can quickly recover it. Steak found 1, but was immediately refragged by Caesar, making this a 4 versus 4. Sizzy have got to pick up the pace a little bit. They've only got a minute 15. 1 wall is open. Here comes the second wall very soon, but Obiza took out Caesar, and I think that was actually, okay, no, that wasn't the phone player, but Sizzy have got to go here. Only a minute left on the clock, and they're just hesitating. I think maybe at this point you either commit to a switch up on the other site, or you just full send it into B. Pasta found a big R. It's now up to Ellipsis and Pasta in a 2 versus 3. They're going to try and play for picks a little bit, but the point is they don't have a whole lot of time to do so. 40 seconds left on the clock as shot is suppressed. So Biza looks to push in through connector, but they do get killed. Shot is now taken out, and it's up to Easy Mario on a flank through hallway. Ellipsis almost went down. Pasta, the EMP has been denied. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock, and Easy Mario is going to push into the site they're looking for. Ellipsis, but no, Ellipsis stood up and ties it up heading into the second half. That was incredibly close picks. I don't know. I think do you, if that were you, would you have just played back and waited for the EMP audio cue, or would you have gone for the kill?
I think sorry, I don't even remember who was last alive. That was Ellipsis. Ellipsis, I believe he saw the last person run away after he killed that, or at least heard them. So knowing where he is, you can just play in that hallway next to that door. 20 seconds left. You know where EMP is. You know it's been placed, and you know it can't go anywhere else. So you just kind of play off that info. But I get him trying to go for the kill there, or at least pushing forwards. Maybe he didn't hear where the last player was, and that's why he was trying to push forwards. But it definitely was just 2v1. Almost got it in a 1v2. Sorry. Just unlucky again. We're not seeing these clutches come through right now from any teams.
No, but to be fair, I think I might have been a little bit hard on Easy Mario there. It's not the easiest call to make when the pressure is that high, and you just don't know where Ellipsis is in that scenario. So it made sense to push in, but unfortunately for Rejected, that call didn't quite work out for them, and now we'll see if they can put up a impressive offensive half. Once again, we see it come down to a tie in the first half. A little bit of a common theme with Rejected. I think this is their last game in the CC. I think we're going to see Sizzy and Underdogs battle it out in the next round, because Rejected have played twice. So there's a lot of pressure to perform here. They do look and get that EMP planted. All 5 players still alive. Pasta catches one in the Incendiary, but the EMP has been planted. It's a little bit too late. Steak pushes and finds a kill, but they are refragged by Ellipsis. There's a flank through Bathroom to Big R, caught Kung Fu Panda, and now they're going to try and push through Connector, where Ellipsis is waiting for that push from the Big R, but the EMP is planted. Pasta has to contend with 2 players, and then they've got to get that EMP defused. The Big R does go down. Pasta now pushing their way into Gym. 1 goes down to Easy Mario, and Shot is going to catch Ellipsis while they run. It's going to be 4-3, Rejected taking the lead.
Yep, they went in for that plant so quick, playing complete opposite of how Sizzy played in those pistol rounds. You see in that pistol round, first round, they played crouch for quite a while, but Rejected just went straight in for that plant there. Almost got wall banged while he was planting, but he gets the plant down, almost escapes too, just stuck in an instant and behind a wall. And then the Big R with a massive flank onto A, which not only got that 1 kill, just put so much pressure on the last 2 people alive. One person passed out to push up, and the other player just was sitting back there waiting for the Big R to make a move, which he got the kill, but just done so much damage and wasted so much time. When the EMP's planted, that time is so useful just to take down 1 or 2 seconds.
You know, it's another time change, right, Pix? I mean, it used to be a full minute that you had when the EMP got planted. It's now only 45 seconds. And just like with the overall round timing difference, it makes a huge difference losing that 15 seconds on the EMP. The meta, way back in the day in Season 1, when we still had minute timers on the EMP, was really the site retake. I mean, the defenders could wait for the EMP to be planted, push up, kill the entire team, and then get in and still have enough time to get the EMP defused. But you don't have that luxury anymore. And for Sizzy, they really have to be better with their timing. Kung Fu Panda spotted immediately and is taken out by Steak. Good start from Rejected as they slowly push over to B.
Yeah, good start for Rejected there. 5v4 already before even anyone had entered the hallway. This is what's called your Omens versus Omens now. Like, everyone's got the same amount of guns, apart from 1 Spectral. Another kill comes through. 2 instants still left for Sizzy though. They could use these to the plant, but they're not in any good position to use them. And it seems like Rejected got that plant down and just steamrolled them already.
Look at that. They're so fast at getting that EMP down. And it's 4-3 already. Sparks goes down. Now a 4 versus 2. 3 versus 2. Seek pushes in deep. Gets 1. Looks for 2. And Ellipsis will find it first. Excuse me. Easy Mario pushing through the hallway, but Obiza is going to be the one to make it 3-5. Rejected now just 2 rounds away from winning their second round. I think that would actually guarantee them to move through into day 2 of the Challenger Cup, and then it would be a battle between Sizzy and Underdogs to see who that second place team is going to be. So there's a lot riding here on the EU Challenger Cup. And speaking of Challenger Cups, just later today, 6 Eastern, is going to be the NA Challenger Cup, and there's going to be quite a bit of action going on there. 16 teams will be competing to become that 8th seed in the closed qualifiers next week. So I'm ready to see that action. I'll actually be over casting the Ignition Cup for Orion Drift, and make sure to come say hi over on Stream C around 5 Eastern. But so far, we're still here in the EU Challenger Cup, and we still have a whole other map after this one. I'm loving the action that we're seeing. It's been quite interesting to see these teams play, Pixel.
Yep, 100%. It has seen Rejected do the exact same thing. I mean, obviously, game's not over yet, but same thing as last game. Go 3-3 on the first half, and then maybe just take off in the second half and just keep it going. And this is obviously their second map play in a row, so maybe they're more warmed up as well. It's definitely looking more of the side for Rejected here with the Vezins compared to the SMGs, mainly on the Sizzy side.
They're pretty strong on the offense, and they almost got that EMP planned, but the big R is thrown out of sync by Pasta. Shot, however, with an immediate double kill to bounce back a little bit. Here comes a push from Ellipsis. Shot, and Easy Mario playing off of each other like champions. 3-6. Look at that amazing teamwork to keep them alive in a really, really tough situation.
That was the Vezins going in against the SMGs there. You see Shot get that first kill back sight, and then the person that pushes out of the sight at the door, he just gets his gun instantly up. First shot, headshot, Vezin close range. If you hit that first shot, you obviously won that, as you saw there. I'm pretty sure that was a 2v5 that just got shut down within 20 seconds or something like that. That was insanely well played from Rejected, rather.
Whew, all right, Rejected. They've got a foot in the door here, Pixel. One more round, and they will get that coveted ticket to day 2 of CC to fight against either Sizzy or Underdogs in a best of 3. And considering that they've already beaten these two teams, well, I'm not going to say it yet. You know what? Anything can happen. We got overtime on. They're 3 rounds down. They may have beaten both of these teams already, so Rejected might. This is my prediction. They might be the winners of that Challenger Cup, purely based off of how they're playing today. You know, 2-day competition. Anything can change. Anything can happen. We'll see what occurs, but right now we got to finish this game first, and we're on what could be the final round. But if Sizzy have anything to say about it, we'll be in for quite a bit more as a frag is tossed into White Stairs. Steak on the move, taking out Sparks, and another edge tier frag toss by the big R. Ellipsis pushing up there now in a 1 versus 4 push and get a second kill. They're now in it. A 3 versus 1.
Nope.
Did not work, and Rejected take their second round of the EU Challenger Cup. They're moving on to tomorrow with the gold ticket to that best of 3. It's now between Sizzy and Underdogs to see who they're going to be playing against, but really, that was textbook Breachers, Pixel. I mean, you really just can't get any better than that.
100% Rejected, just playing quick, which seemed to just put Sizzy off guard. That even when they're all on site, Rejected just steamrolled in, get that plant down. No util comes down to stop the plant, at least not quick enough to do anything. And then when they try and peek to stop that plant, maybe there's already some Rejected players looking at them just to shut them down and stop them.
Yep, just did not fall into the hands of Sizzy in this particular series. But hey, look, Pixel, I mean, we've got one more round in the EU Challenger Cups Swiss today, and that is going to be Sizzy versus Underdogs. I was about to say Sizzy versus Rejected, but we just saw that. It's going to be Sizzy versus Underdogs, and that is going to determine who is playing against Rejected tomorrow. So, don't go away, because when we come back, we'll get into probably the most important round of the CC now, a third one to determine who our 2 contenders, well, we already have 1 contender, who our second contender for tomorrow will be. We'll be back in just a second.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the final round of the EU Challenger Cup Day 1. Once again, I'm your host, Gibular Bob, my wonderful co-caster, Pixel Player. Here we are, Pixel. The final round, Sizzy versus Underdogs. This is for all the marbles. We have already got one team confirmed for tomorrow. That is going to be Rejected with 2 wins. They beat both Underdogs and Sizzy, and now it's between these two teams to see who's going 1-1 to face off against Rejected.
Yep. And anything can happen tomorrow. Granted, they lost today's match, but tomorrow's a best of 3. Whole different type of format play, and you can lose those first few rounds on map 1 and still keep the mental going to win it all in maybe the rest of the map 1, but then map 2 and map 3 you lock in on the map you want or side you want, and then just keep it up. Map 1, there's 1 map games. As soon as you're down a little bit, the mental might go down though, and you don't have a second chance.
And where are we going? We're going to the OG original map. We're going to Factory. The one and only. Well, this is, I mean, you know, it's been around since the very first alpha of Breachers. It feels like we're going to a museum, a historical site, a historical landmark every time we see Factory now. It's been in the game, and it has, I think, reached the status of the point where it comes down to less of strategy and more of just pure execution, because there's not a whole lot you can throw at somebody on Factory to confuse them anymore.
Yep, 100%. Not much space to move around. You can do. There's some sites like bottom floor and top floor. You can do the rotates, but middle floor push like we're on right now. Once you pick a site, you kind of have to stick to it. As long you just need to get a util down and push off that util, because as soon as your util is gone, the defenders kind of have this site pretty easy to kill you if you're trying to plant.
And here we go, Underdogs and Sizzy. Underdogs on the offense, Sizzy starting with the defense. Both of these teams played Rejected and lost 7-3. So I really couldn't tell you how this is going to turn out, because this is the first time we're seeing a game in this Challenger Cup without Rejected in it. So we don't have them as a statistic to kind of base anything off of. But 2 minutes on the clock. Underdogs on the move. They've already foamed the kitchen hatch, and I think they're waiting to toss the frag into server room. If they can stick that, it would be an S tier frag, but they're taking time. There it is. The wall the hatch opened up. There's the frag. Oh, it just was a little bit too long, and Kung Fu Panda escaped it with only just a tad bit of damage. But here comes the rest of the util into the site as CT looks to get that EMP down. Good defense from the offensive team. They got it down. Frag is tossed, but it was just a little bit too far. That could have been deadly, though. It almost hit 3 Underdog players. But right now, there's a lot of work for Sizzy to do.
5v4 now post plant. Almost 30 seconds left. Sparks gets 1 pick onto the stairs on orange. They still have to try and take that top floor control, otherwise the post plant is going to be so easy for Underdogs. They're going towards the stairs now. Still, time's running out. Underdogs still with the position here. 1 person on orange window too.
Kung Fu Panda, and Ellipsis are stuck. Oh, there's the hatch supremacy from Underdogs. Makes it a 1-0 game. Underdogs taking the lead in this series. Let me take a quick look at the matchup data. Previous encounter, Underdogs won 14-8. Pixel. Synergy went, Synergy. Syzygy went 1-3. Underdogs again with that 6-6-1. And Factory, the best round played, or excuse me, the best map played by Syzygy. They've played 11 rounds. They've won 64% of them. But for Underdogs, Factory's actually the third best map. They've played 41 rounds here, and they've won 44% of those. So I think statistically speaking, Underdogs has quite a bit more experience on this map.
At least competitively, it seems so. Yep. I think it was Underdogs map pick as well, them being the home team, unless they decided to pick attack. But who knows? Honestly, we're not inside their heads. We're not inside the comms in the game either.
Into round 2 we go, and Underdogs, well, actually both teams have bought into Omens, playing those SMGs, and right now we're looking at Underdogs stacking outside of blue vending, 2 minutes 20 on the clock, as they're just being cautious, being thorough, droning downstairs, and Underdogs, to their credit, are playing pretty close to the site, except for, excuse me, Syzygy are playing pretty close to the site, except for Ellipsis, who is out in bathroom trying to get the jump onto some Underdog players. Pasta taking out Rising Survivor. Early pick given up by Underdogs, and Pasta pushed out of that back corner a little bit by an incendiary deployment. Sparks catching Jed as Casper finding Sparks. And more exchanges are happening. It's now left us in a 2 versus 3. Ellipsis catching Casper, and Caesar makes it a team ace. That means that everybody on Syzygy got 1 kill.
Yep. Was a team ace for Underdogs last round as well, so still an exact standstill, it seems like, for both teams. Underdogs did go into that round with the advantage there. They had both teams had 3 Omens, 2 Spectrals, but Underdogs with more money had more util. But just util done a lot of damage, but didn't unfortunately get any picks. And the 2 people playing lockers got the picks into storage, the cubby room, whatever. I forget the cooldown for that. And then it was, I believe, Sparks in the Pasta in the middle of site, getting the kill on 1 person entry and with the nade, then killing the person at the door as well. So good util. The very limited amount of util that Syzygy had there, done a lot more, unfortunately, compared to Underdogs util.
Well, for Underdogs, it's not all bad. Casper and CT have both purchased rifles. They're running a Marui and a Vezin. Kung Fu Panda can buy a rifle here, but Syzygy are choosing to stick with Omens. It makes me a little bit concerned for them, Pixel, because they're on the bottom floor, which I think has quite a bit of range in the sites. Rising Survivor picks up a little bit of initial damage to that frag grenade. Casper has a stim, but I think they may just hold off on healing Rising Survivor for now. 2 minutes on the clock. Underdogs getting ready to push into orange storage here. It's quite well defended by Syzygy. They've put up double statics on the door and the wall. 1:50 as an incendiary was tossed. Where in the world did that deploy? It's got this tiny little circle of fire. There's a real incendiary deployment by Underdogs. Going to block off the door for a little bit longer. Casper getting a trip mine kill early in this round. Underdogs have given up first pick, but Fatty took out Kung Fu Panda, and Caesar keeps Syzygy ahead 4-1.
It's a big round for Underdogs here, buying into that 1 Marui compared to Syzygy keeping their money for next round. If Underdogs don't win this, then the next round might be looking a little bit poor for that round. But Caesar, still with the advantage gun here, can be the game changer here if he gets these picks.
A minute left. Underdogs are quite caught out. Syzygy have done a pretty impressive job of keeping Underdogs out. That was an Omen that went down. Marui player Casper is still alive, and Jed is still using that Spectral. Only 40 seconds left. I think we're seeing a salvage from Underdogs. I mean, if you're Casper, I would probably just salvage and try and buy rifles next round.
the A wall is already open, but they are making quite a bit of noise. Pasta most definitely hears them. So he's going to be calling that rotate here in both sets. I'd assume he'd call the rotate at least.
20 seconds. Incendiary deployed on the flank. Pasta swings out. Casper goes down, and there's the swing from Pasta to make it a 2-1 game with Sizzy taking the lead. There you go.
Yeah, I think Underdog's making a bit too much noise there on that rotate with Pasta still sitting on that other site. Has all the info of where they are, and also playing in that corner. They played the double swing perfectly onto Casper with the Marie. You know, you're not really going to win a fight with two people peeking from two separate angles, Marui or not. So that's good. That was a really good play from Sizzy, and they won that round. They got so much money going into this round compared to the granted four rifles for Underdogs, but maybe not too much util coming with them. Now 3 rifles, 2 rifles. They're opting for util over weapons here, which might be the play for top floor. Can definitely block off a lot of sight with that util.
I think this is probably the most utility heavy site out of any of them on this map. So for Underdogs to invest a little bit more into the other side apart from rifles is, like Pixel Player said, smart. And the hatch opens up down into storage. Drone moving in from Underdogs, but that is quickly denied by Sizzy, who's made it 2-1 so far with quite the lead over Underdogs. But you know, Underdogs can bounce back. They're Underdogs for a reason. They had to be at a deficit first, and now we're going to see them lock in. Casper drops down the storage hatch. Rising Survivor stacking up outside of Site A. Good use of the clone projector, by the way. They're putting it in an angle that would definitely throw me off over in Cubby. But right now, Underdogs getting ready to push in on Site A. Foam applied on the blue vending wall. Minute 40 on the clock, and they're getting ready to push in. There goes the wall. It's been opened up. Pasta may have a peek at the end of blue hallway. Fatty picks up a little bit of damage. They toss an incendiary and a frag into the back of A. They're desperately trying to get rid of Pasta, but CT moves in, looks to get that EMP planted. Another frag is tossed up. Utility dump is over, and now Underdogs can move in and get that EMP planted. Uh-oh.
Oh, blind fire by Ellipsis there. Getting 2 picks. 2v1 plant's not down, but it's placed.
Uh-oh. Here it's down to Kung Fu Panda. Oh, they got a headshot on the Rising Survivor. No way, it didn't get the kill. Unfortunate. Rising is very, very low. Jed does stick the plants. And now it is a battle, 2v1, to see if Kung Fu Panda can kill both Rising Survivor and Jed. Rising doesn't have to move here. They can just wait, get that stim back, get their health up, and try again to kill Kung Fu Panda. But Kung Fu is moving towards the back of the site. EMP planted. I'm amazed that that trip mine has actually not gone up. Are you kidding me? They placed it a
little bit too low.
They placed it a little bit too low.
Oh, not too low. Oh, no.
The door frame is blocking the trip mine.
Too far across.
That is the most unfortunate placement I think I've ever seen. And I mean, really, that trip mine, it still hasn't even gone off. That would have killed Rising Survivor. Yep. Kung Fu Panda tucking in sight and just playing carefully.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's 2-2 tie. Very interesting round.
I don't think the person who was planting was, I think it was a Ryzen with 93 HP, or the person who had 93 HP was the one that finished the plant. The trip would have gotten down to 3 HP if it done full damage, and that would have been a 1v2, but with like 6 HP combined on the Underdog side, so it definitely would have been winnable. But unfortunately, the trip was placed a little bit too close to the door, so it just completely blocked, which is very lucky on the Underdog side to make it even score again.
I know. It's just shocking because that trip mine,
Yeah.
They didn't watch for it several times. It's so funny that if it was just to the right, a tad bit more, it would have killed somebody. It probably could have stopped the EMP from getting planted too. But alas, it did not happen, and Sizzy will have to contend with a 2-2 game. And just when you think maybe one team takes the lead here, Pixel, the other team brings it back and ties it once more.
Seen that, but for all 3 games today so far, just the same story over and over. As soon as that one team takes the lead, though, by 2 rounds, that granted it was rejected both times. As soon as they got that 2-round lead, they went off with it and they kept it going. So I think they're fighting for that right now. And as soon as they get that they are looking for the highest chance to win that round, the game.
2 minutes on the clock. Rising Survivor on the kitchen hatch, and
Paddy on the flank, by the way, in garage.
Oh,
Sparks is watching.
I see that.
No proxy or anything.
There's Fatty's got the cloaking device, but they're gonna walk right in this party. Oh my goodness! They both noticed each other, but Sparks made use of that Marui and beat out the Omen. A minute and a half on the clock. Not good for Underdogs as their big flanker is now gone. Oh, an S-tier frag on a Kung Fu Panda. They escaped it once, but the S-tier frag finds a way to make it to its targets. Anyways, pasta downstairs in orange storage. Jed hanging out the window of orange stairs, and Casper is in orange stairs. A push here from Pasta will be devastating. One on the Casper. Pasta's gonna have another go. Oh, but they're denied by Jed, who finds a double kill of their own. It's now down to Ellipsis in a 1 versus 2. And Jed, oh my goodness, with 3 kills that round, kept Underdogs alive to make it a 2-3. Underdogs looking to go 4-2 into the second half.
Yep, Underdogs playing perfectly together there. Like, one person dies, one person gets swung. They either back off, like we saw in that final kill, back off, and the next person with full HP swings, maybe catching them off guard, or they just get the refrag like we saw on the Sparks flank. That was insanely well played from Underdogs. Good util as well with the nade into connector getting a kill, and then the molly into backside, which just stopped the person backside from peeking. And I'm pretty sure he ran into the mollies to try and get a kill, which he did get the kill, but then once again got refragged. But that's very well played by Underdogs. Good util as well.
Oh my, this is G. Hasn't had the best 2 rounds. Right? They had a strong opening here, but now that we're on the halftime round, Underdogs just really pulled back and stepped up a little bit, especially Jet. Oh my goodness, that was an incredible swing in. They flicked onto Pasta downstairs, and they swung back over and got a second kill. And then, oh, that's impressive. But in any case, here we are on the halftime round here on Factory. I don't know who Casper tossed that clone projector to. I guess it's a Rising Survivor. But 2 minutes 10 on the clock as that drone moves in, scouts out orange storage, and is now looking for the Sizzy presence in Site B. But Underdogs have good positioning here, I think.
Yep, Underdogs good positioning. Do have the util advantage once again. A little bit of damage onto Rising Survivor there from Sparks with the Gadillo, but that doesn't have much ammo. If he keeps wallbang with that, he'll be out of ammo soon. But any good tags are good. Like that kill right there, perfect timing. 3 shots, 4 shots onto Rising Survivor, just body shot, headshot. That's a great kill.
Minute and a half. Drone taken down, and a frag tossed back out. Holy moly, that could have killed Casper if they were still in there. Really nice throw. A minute 20 on the clock. Fatty outside of electrical, and Sparks, Ellipsis, Pasta all waiting in A. Here comes the push from Underdogs onto B. CT tossing that flash in, looks to push through the side into B. Caesar is caught in center. Kung Fu Panda on the big blue box. But look, only 50 seconds left on the clock. Underdogs has got to get in this site. But they're in a 4 versus 5. Stim is tossed over to Caesar. They do manage to get that off. But now, oh, Kung Fu Panda goes down to Jed. 40 seconds left. Ellipsis bouncing back with a kill onto CT. Only half a minute left. 3-4. Sizzy still with the player advantage. But Jed has made their way into sight, infiltrating like a spy. They catch one kill. Fatty cleared out the second kill. Only 20 seconds left on the clock. But Pasta and Sparks make their way through A. Pasta walks right into the crosshair of Jed. It's now just up to Sparks in a 1 versus 2 against Fatty and Jed. Can they succeed? They've got to get that EMP planted. They've only got a singular Cadillo, no other kind of util, and they have to contend with Jed, the sniper in the back once more. 4-2. Underdogs take the first half.
Yep, Underdogs gets that 2-point lead that I was talking about. Are we going to see the same as the other 2 games where they got this lead now? Are they going to take off of it? This pissed around obviously decides that, but as we've seen so far, that 2-point lead could mean a lot, especially with the mental going into this round, knowing that they can win and get into tomorrow's game to get into that playoffs.
It's really interesting, Pixel. This is the first time we can say that a team has taken the first half in this EU Challenger Cup. Every other game before this, between Rejected and Underdogs or Rejected and Sizzy, has always ended with a tied first half. But now, maybe, this is the point where Underdogs can keep this momentum up, and it can carry them all the way through their defensive, their defensive half into that best of 3 tomorrow against Rejected. This is really their chance. Rising Survivor. Talk about an aggressive flank. If that window opens up, Survivor's going to be in trouble. The drone goes down. They're going to go for the pre-fire. Oh, it didn't work. They tried the delayed frag, but that also did not work. Not the best way to start for Underdogs.
No second drone, though, so Jed might be able to get a pick if he times these stairs right. Right about now. Lots of damage, but no kill. He's getting chased by a
Run, Jed! Oh, my.
Oh.
Just barely escaped the chase. And
really good damage though.
Yeah, they really softened up both Kung Fu Panda and Caesar. But look, it's a switch up over to site B. They're going for the museum push. They've dropped down, and Fatty is actually on the flank. The museum wall has been foamed. Into the kill box we go, and Instant has been tossed. CT almost claims 2 lives with that. Fatty on the flank, they're denied, though, by Sparks. It's a 3 versus 3. It's down to Kung Fu Panda and Sparks over in conference. Jed snipes Ellipsis, as they've sniped so many other players in this game. Pasta goes down. It's all up to Sparks, the last member standing. They go down. CT drops a double. 5-2 lead from Underdogs.
That's the win they needed. This could be the start of the finish of Sizzy right here. 5-2, this lead didn't mean so much, especially winning that pistol round. Underdogs, if they once again opt for util like we saw they do on attack once, this top floor, once again, util is really good for this site. We could see a possible match point coming in for Underdogs here.
Possible, but the pistol round is not always indicative of who is going to take the rest of the second half. For Sizzy, though, they are certainly in trouble. Their back is getting against the wall. If they lose another one, it's going to be that match point. And then they would need to take Underdogs all the way into overtime and then win an overtime round just to have that shot at Rejected in the best of 3 tomorrow. But the saving grace, I'd say, Pixel, is the fact that Sizzy bought out. They have 5 omens. They've got util. Yep. I think Underdogs may be in trouble if they get into those close range engagements.
It doesn't even look like Underdogs is opting for too much util. 2 incense and a grenade, and then we got, I think I hit 2 statics and 1 door blocker. Maybe some proxies in other places too, and trips. But it looks like they'll have enough money to full buy next round, even if they lose this round. So maybe they're not playing to win this round, but instead have a lot of money for this round. But Fatty gets the first pick on a Sparks there. That's a big start to the round for them.
Good for Fatty, but it's their only Omen player. And there was a stim. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh, okay. They buy into it.
Okay, they did buy in. I like that. One Omen is dropped by Sizzy. I think they did harvest that, but it's not going to be able to be recovered by Underdogs because it was up on the roof anyway. A minute 40 on the clock. Kung Fu Panda, Pasta, Ellipsis, and Caesar all hanging outside of blue vendings. Rising Survivor, the flanker who sometimes gets it right and sometimes does not, is downstairs waiting to push onto Sizzy. And honestly, they're in a good position here. But I think Pasta is rotating back outside to potentially stop a flanker. But here comes Rising Survivor. They might close in on Kung Fu Panda. The wall has been opened up. Rising Survivor pressing the flank a little bit. Oh, but Kung Fu Panda might get caught here. Rising waits. Good patience. They catch one. Pasta swings in and does manage to get Rising, but it does still put Underdogs at a player advantage over Sizzy. That's another Omen down. Only 50 seconds left on the clock. They know where Caesar is. Ellipsis sets off that proximity alarm and an explosive. It doesn't kill Ellipsis, but they're very, very low on health.
Yep, and it's 38 seconds with 2 Insins and a grenade left for Underdogs. That's 20 seconds of Insins, and then 10. That basically gives 10 seconds of Sizzy to plant. That's 1 Insin down. Pasta might die to that as well. Even though that's perfect. 4-1 now. That's what pushes. Caesar pushes in, kills. Yeah, I don't know if there's time.
No, there was only 19 seconds too, and they were in a 1v3. Oh my goodness. Rough.
They want an instant
for Sizzy, and I gotta say, expertly played by Underdogs. You know, Underdogs has been in Breachers VRML for I think since season 1. I think season 1. So they are a incredibly experienced team, and they just know at this point that that was how you play that that specific scenario. I think you did say, Pixel, that this was Underdog's last season participating in Breaches VRML.
Yep, so season 1, they made it to playoffs in the top 7, didn't have to play CC, so this is their first time in, maybe not the first time in the CC, I think, but their first time, you know, trying to possibly have a chance at winning the CC to get into playoffs. So they haven't been in playoffs for season 2 or season 3, and they obviously want to get in there. They've been telling me how they want to get into it since there is their last season. This will be Underdogs' last season. I think a few players will be sticking around, but the team itself, I believe, will be disbanding from VRML Breaches.
It's a shame because I've quite liked Underdogs, and I've gotten very used to seeing them in the postseason, be it in the Challenger Cup or just in the playoffs. And so we wish Underdogs all the best. And I believe Sizzy is a newer team, so you know, as we say goodbye to some players, we see the start of a wonderful beginning for another team. Oh my goodness! Jed S plus tier frag, and again another stealth kill from out of nowhere. Jed with a beautiful lineup, and what a way to start off this rep. What is Rising Survivor doing? They're going outside. They killed Pasta. Spark. Oh my goodness, Rising! There is no way. What?
That's insane.
What? Rising Survivor just didn't even care. They went outside and gave up their location like they were playing Team Deathmatch, and they still got the kill. That was incredible. And Underdogs, it may be their last season, but they're going out with a bang, and they take their win against Sizzy in the EU Challenger Cup. They now go on tomorrow to face off against Rejected once more in a best of 3, and then we will see who that 8th seed is going to be. And everybody is just, we're seeing the Jed glaze as we head out of the lobby. Pixel, I got to get your thoughts. That was an incredible day 1.
Yep, 100%. We saw Rejected just completely take out like the two other teams playing. Granted, it was not a rocky start. It was a very, very even start for both games. But Rejected just went away with it in the second half of both games, which is exactly, once again, what Underdogs done here. They got that lead and just went off of it once again, didn't even give Sizzy a chance. So now we'll see a rematch between Underdogs and Rejected tomorrow, and we'll see if it stays the same or if Underdogs will take the win.
I think it's interesting. Let me see if I can quickly pull up the data for Rejected once more, because remember, we did play on Mall for our first map between these two teams. So maybe Underdogs just didn't play well on Mall. It's not even listed in their top 5 maps, which is, well, I guess it's not mentioned for Rejected either. So I guess both teams were in some unfamiliar circumstances. But maybe if Underdogs can get, on one of their more popular maps, we could see them possibly get some rounds in on Rejected. I think that's a very realistic possibility that we could see. So I wouldn't count Underdogs out yet, but I also wouldn't count Rejected out either, because Rejected was the only team today to beat both of their opponents, Sizzy and Underdogs, and claim a undefeated score for EUCC. So it's shaping up to be a very exciting and fun Challenger Cup best of 3 for Europe tomorrow. And I think that's a good segue into the other action that we have going on right now. Currently, you can tune in to the Orion Drift Ignition Cup. They're on EU Day 1. It's another Swiss-style tournament, so it's going to be very similar to this one. There's quite a few more teams involved. And then also live right now is Vale's Season 3 EU Championship. They're on Day 3. So go ahead and tune in to those streams if you're looking for more VRML action. Coming up, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. This afternoon, we've got the NA Challenger Cup Day 1 for Breachers. Then we've got the NA Ignition Cup at 5 for Orion Drift. I'll be back there on C-Stream, so once again, come in and say hi. And then tomorrow, actually, at 2 a.m. EST, we will have the Ignition Cup APAC Day 2. Tomorrow at 11, we'll have EU Ignition Cup Day 2. We'll have the Day 2 of Breachers for EU and NACC. Those are the best of 3s. Whole lot of stuff happening. That's the point. Pixel is that there's a lot of crazy things happening, and then I think the final event that we've got planned to close out the weekend is the Pavlov Championship Week 3. So a whole lot of championships going on. There's going to be VRML all weekend, and that is so much fun to see. Big shout out to everybody on the moderation team and the production team for setting aside time to handle this huge production task, and also for you, the players, for setting aside your time to participate in our tournaments and come out and join us here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I saw Sleepy, I saw Snoop, I saw Flighty, Majid, Brabadabado, Jacobs. Welcome everybody. Rise, Jacob. Good to see everyone here, and GG's to our teams. And finally, don't forget that after we've got all of our tournaments and season finales done, we're going to get into the big stuff. VRMLCon 2025 in Phoenix, Arizona, at Arizona State University. You can get your tickets right now. There's going to be 5 amazing games there. There's going to be Breachers. There's going to be Onward. There's going to be Pavlov. There's going to be Vale. And the final day, Sunday, dedicated to another Axioms, Orion Drift. We're going to have the online qualifiers happen here fairly soon, but you can go ahead and get your tickets right now. And if you and your team purchase tickets, it will enter you into all the tournaments for the game, or you can enter into all of the tournaments for the game. So all you need is one ticket. You don't have to buy a separate ticket if you want to enter multiple tournaments. So if that's something that interests you, if you'd like to go out to Phoenix this summer, meet the casters, play on stage in front of a live audience, go ahead and make sure you get your tickets very, very soon. But I think for now, that is going to do it for us here at the Breachers VRML for EUCC Day 1. I've been your host, Gibular Bob, my very, very wonderful co-caster, Pixel Player. We'll catch you all tomorrow for more EU action. Have a fantastic rest of your night, everybody, and we'll see you in the next cast.
VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager. Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.